It's like, be here now, do good work, done.
Welcome to Let's Talk, ladies, conversations across generations. I'm MB Roberts, an author and journalist, and this is a podcast where we talk to women from their 20s to their 90s about a bunch of hot topics. We ask questions, share experiences, and learn from each other. And it's not just about older women giving advice. We want to know what younger women are thinking too. So let's get talking. Our podcast is all about women of different ages sharing experiences, everything from dating, cooking, whether or not to get married, choosing to be child-free, or navigating life in the music business, or traveling solo. And we found that one theme keeps popping up in many of our conversations. It's how to relate to women younger or older than you. And often this is at work. And from what we hear, it's like Gen Z women grew up in a different country than Gen Xers. Our guest today is Pam Lewis. She's well known in Nashville as an artist manager and the head of her own PR firm, PLA Media. She grew up in upstate New York and then got her start as part of the original publicity marketing team that launched MTV in the 80s. And that was a big thing. I remember that really well. After a few other super cool gigs, RCA Records relocated Pam to Nashville, where she worked with top stars like Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers, the Judds, and Alabama. And then when she formed a management company with a partner, guess who their first client was? Garth Brooks. Over the years, she's promoted too many artists to count, and we'd need a whole day to talk about her philanthropic work. Historic preservation is particularly close to her heart, and we'll hear all about that. So let's welcome Pam. Hi, Pam.
Hello, my darling.
I am so excited to talk to you today. Thank you.
I love people with initials for first names. I'm going to be like a PL from now on.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever tried that? My whole thing, I just never really liked the name Mary Beth. It just sounded, I don't know. I hear my mom's voice being mad at me.
Like you're in trouble.
Exactly. And then people always got it wrong. Mary Ann, it's not that hard.
It works for you.
But then my favorite author when I was a kid was S.E. Hinton. The Outsiders.
Oh, yes.
And I think I was kind of copying her a little bit. I like that when I started as a writer, no one knew if I was a boy or a girl.
Okay. So when I first heard your name, I thought it was ELBY, like short for elbow.
Yeah. And that's what they do at Starbucks. They write out EMBEE. And I'm like, okay.
Whatever works, as long as you get the right latte, right?
Not trying to complicate it. So yeah, enough about me. So I am so excited to talk to you today about perspective. I just think that's a really good topic as a business manager, as a PR pro, and in the music business. I thought you'd have some good kind of things to say about how things have changed. Or let's start with your PR business. I mean, this could go on for days. There's been some really big challenges over the years, and
really
kind of
hadn't noticed.
You hadn't like what are some of the challenges you're facing now? We've talked about it a little bit.
Okay, well, first of all, let me clarify that sort of the low-hanging fruit for me has been the entertainment industry. That said, long time ago, I kind of morphed to do other things. So we have done theme parks, museums, authors. There's a line of spaghetti sauce we're working with now. Cookies. We have a line of cookies. So if anyone's listening and you need a PR firm and you don't do music, call us.
Yes.
Because I don't want people to just think that's what we do.
Right.
I moved here to work at a record label. I've been involved in artist management. Yes, music is all around us and I dearly love it, but that's not all we do. So perspective, to answer your question, a long time ago, I was like, okay, I want to throw a bigger net out. And so that's what I started to do with my business, is to build that and take on other projects. So now I'm kind of the firm that we don't really know what to do with this. We'll call Pam. It doesn't really fit this one line here. And also realizing that there's only a limited number of firms that are going to do the Keith Urbans of the world or the whoever of the world.
Right.
So do I want to chase that? Because that's a whole other world too. Of insanity. And I've been there where it's like 24/7 and the egos and the this and the that, which is, it's amazing. And been there, done that, kind of got the T-shirt and then some. But there's other stuff, that is also incredibly amazing and worthy of doing. And so I would say we're more niche, boutique in what we're doing.
That's cool. And I could think it could be so creative to promote spaghetti sauce. It's like, especially if you haven't done it, like, well, let's start. How are we going to do this? What are we going to do? What's different? Or, what are the opportunities, right? And
I like working. I would say this. First, when I connect with someone, I want to hear their story.
mm-hmm.
I want to hear what they're about. I want to know what their goals are. Then it's up to me to amplify that story in a meaningful way. So that's how I approach everything, whether it's this woman that we know who is an entrepreneur who had a dream of doing her own line of pasta and spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I get her. I get what she's about. I was that woman, and I love the entrepreneur spirit of who she is. And so I know how to tell that story for her. She'd be a great guest for you, for example. I can understand museums because I got drugged to museums as a child. I was like, this is so exceedingly boring. But now I love museums. On many different boards, and Belmont Museum, the State Museum.
Oh yeah, Tennessee State Museum.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really cool,
great
interactive.
To celebrate, right?
They're not really boring anymore. I mean, I think when I was a kid, I thought they were boring, but that they're not. They're multimedia. There's so many cool things. Well, just talking about knowing someone's story.
Mm-hmm.
So is it new that you need to tell your story
mm-hmm.
as a business owner where, I was a journalist,
mm-hmm.
you've been a longtime PR and manager person. We were taught not to tell our own story, toot our own horn,
mm-hmm.
which seems counterintuitive because you do want to always promote yourself. But when social media first came out, talk about that a little bit. Just were you
mm-hmm.
so reluctant to put your own face in a tweet or an Instagram post? Or
well, I didn't do it.
Yeah,
I was like, you guys do it. I had my staff do it, and now I'm like, okay. First of all, I do want to stay in touch with people. But then there's a part of me that really loves my solace. And it's just sort of like, I just got to be quiet. There's a part of me that I have a love-hate relationship with technology.
Yes.
I do what I have to do,
yes.
But I'm not 24/7. I just not that person. Can't do it. Won't do that. I think it kind of sucks your soul a little bit. And I think it's
because it's nonstop and it's
unrelenting.
It does I think change your brain a little bit.
We're rewiring. There are stats. We're rewiring our brains. There was just a thing on TV, and they had a school system that is now saying no phones in schools,
mm-hmm.
and the kids are actually liking it. And they're
it's like a relief, right?
They're interacting more. They said the cafeteria people are talking. It's like double the noise level. So I think we're losing soft skills if we don't know how to do this.
Oh, no question about it. I remember my niece when she first went to college a few years ago, and she was actually the kind of kid who was not addicted to her phone. She certainly had one, all that. But I was teasing her, have you met any guys? And we were walking down she goes, come here, walk. Like we walked down the sidewalk,
mm-hmm.
and no one looked up. And I mean, this is so obvious. We all know this is the case. But I was like, wow, I was trying to think of
mm-hmm.
to be 18 and have that be this gorgeous girl. And she goes, I've made eye contact with no one this morning.
And you wonder why people feel isolated.
Right.
And there's such a high level of anxiety and mental illness. It's all connected.
It is.
And we have the power to turn it off.
Yeah, that takes a lot of impulse control for sure. But just the whole fake nature of it, I have a difficult time with. Like, how many people have you seen a Facebook post about their great marriage, and for a fact they went to the divorce attorney yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not kidding. So I just pull back from that. But you have to do it now with your work. I mean, we do it for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We do, you have to get the word out. So how do you balance that?
I think you have to be relevant. And if I can't effectively tell my story, then how can I tell your story? So part of that is, and I said, the cowboy's children have no shoes,
mm-hmm.
right? The old adage. So I sent something out recently because my staff was like, we need to up our social media. I said, I'm barefoot. That's how I headed the note. I'm barefoot. And I went into that, and I asked colleagues to do a shout out. And I was flooded with people saying, yeah, you're great. Because I'm like, okay, we're going to post that because I want to up our visibility. And I don't want to be 24/7 working. I just want to have some great projects. I've been very blessed to have made some successful decisions in my life, and I have a diversified income stream. So I'm not desperate, and nobody wants to work with
Well,
someone
what a great
desperate.
place to be where you're working on things you want to.
Yeah. And the
People
older
you
you
want to work
get, the more valuable your time is.
Yeah,
And
absolutely
and
true.
how are you bringing it? And what are you doing to keep promises to yourself and to other people? And I often think of the quote unquote Tom Brokaw's phrase, the greatest generation. I wonder what people are going to call this period of time. I don't think the greatest generation, because I don't think we have anywhere near the kind of resilience that that generation had.
You talking about you and
World
me,
War
Pam,
II.
or you talking
I'm
about?
talking about collectively.
Yeah,
There's a lot of panic, doom and gloom, all of that. We've gone through rough patches and we will continue. And I always feel like there's a higher power and control, and to just sort of honor that, and to know that the sky's not falling, and that what can I bring to the table? And it's the old adage, you can't control everything that happens to you. You can control how you react to it,
absolutely.
what you do, and are you bringing grace? Are you bringing love? I heard a Sunday sermon recently, and the pastor's a female. I love this woman. She said we need to be hope bearers, real hope bearers, not fake. Let me pose on social media.
Yeah.
And are you sharing kindness? I know my garbage guy. His name is Eric. He's a wonderful man. I got to know him during COVID. He was wearing a mask, and I'm like, hi, what's under there? You know? And so I leave him snacks on the trash cans, and he goes, I'm not sure if Brandon's coming today or Tim's coming today. And he gives me a big hug. Oh, you smell good, Miss Pam. That's like a beautiful thing. How many other people are hugging him today?
That's the way. That's the way to live. Well, do you think? Okay, so you've been in business a long time, and now, when you're working with people maybe in their 20s or their 30s or their 40s, how is that? How is that? Let's go to the 20s. Let's go to women in their 20s. We kind of speak a different language. We kind of come from a different place. How is that for, I never want to be I love working with younger folks. I learn a lot from them. I have a friend and a partner on this podcast that I call my reverse mentor. She's younger than me, and I feel like she learns from me, and I absolutely learn from her. Like, so how is that? Or there's the kind of the cliche of, oh, the young of today, they don't want to work. They don't, those things. But I don't know. I found some really cool people, but I'm wondering, how do you approach that? Someone comes in, wants to work with you, and she's in her mid-20s. Like, what is that like? Or is it each case different?
I think first of all, everyone's in your life for a reason. Every person. Sometimes it's to celebrate who you are because you have simpatico with one another, and they're like, yeah, I think just like you. And sometimes it's to show you. And there's things that maybe you don't like in that person that you need to look at in yourself. So it's checks and balances. But I'm a lifelong learner. You are as well. So every person I meet, I look at that. I think the 20-somethings, they have a lot of pressure on them. A lot of it is self-induced. A lot of it is because of phones, as we just spoke about, body imaging, all of that stuff. And women have always been objectified. We've always had pressures with regards to that. We've always been told to celebrate one another and not be competitive. I mean, I grew up working at Ms. Magazine. That was one of the places I interned.
Wow.
So it was all about, I went to a women's college.
Yeah.
So this is nothing new.
Yeah.
But it's just more exacerbated because, as you said earlier, it's unrelented 24/7 cycles. So I think if I can bring to the table that it's okay, take a breath, and instead of coming at the world with what's in it for me, what can I bring to the table? How can I bless the world? Great JFK. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Yeah.
That still applies. And I think there's so much opportunism mindset.
Yeah.
Especially
like right away, I want to be
want it yesterday.
An influencer. I want to make a lot of money. I want to, do all the things. But do you find that I'm thinking back you know, I worked at a magazine here in town, and I felt like some of the people who were in their 20s were open and listening, and some not so much. And I try to think, is that boring to try to, in my day, we only had a landline, or we, we didn't have social media. That I just
they're
think,
like zoning. Like,
I know my nephews really, I think they're sweet and just kind of, wait for me to stop moving my mouth. But, do you find people will listen and kind of take that in when you say?
Sometimes, and if they don't, that's okay too. And you know what I love? This is my pet peeve, I will say. People say, hey, could I just have a moment of your time? Can I come in and talk to you? Yeah. And they sit and they never take one note. I'm like, God, it must be amazing to be brilliant.
Yeah.
Didn't know that you were such an Einstein that you don't have to take notes.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm kind of like, you're here. I will speak whatever I feel I can do to help you. It's up to you whether you receive it or not.
Right.
And I don't get attached to it. I love Mel Robbins.
Yeah.
So
she's fantastic.
Let them.
Oh, I'm trying to get better.
Let them, let me. And I love that's the other part of it. Let me.
Right.
Now what am I going to do? What am I going to bring to the table? And I had this conversation recently with a colleague and who was really ticked and was feeling very disrespected. And I said, you know what? If we lose the interview, we lose the interview. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Stop personalizing because this client is not getting back to you. Stop personalizing it. It's going to be okay.
And see, that came from your perspective, from your experience, and
hundreds of times.
Do you feel right? I know how many times.
Yeah.
I did so many interviews with celebrities over the years, and I remember my mom-in-law once. This was not when people worked at home, but I said, "Oh, I have to go. I'm waiting," and then it took hours. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "What happened? I thought you were doing it at 2:00." I go, this is what this is what happens. It's at their convenience. And she's like, I don't understand. Mm-hmm. You had an appointment. and it's like, you kind of just learn. Do you feel like it was well received, your message? Do you feel like,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Just happened.
That's right.
And that's okay. And I'm not also attached to how that plays out.
Right. Like, did you listen to me? Let's see how this went.
Well, I love Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
A little bit. I love him. But some of the things he says are really hysterical. And he'll say, like, how's that working for you?
Right. That's it.
So is that what you're going to do? You're going to live this way and you're doing this, you're doing that. How's that 3-pack habit working for you?
Yeah,
How's you sleeping tonight?
Yeah.
How you doing? How many drugs you taking to get to sleep because you got anxiety? Keep living like that if that's you want to live. It's your decision. It's all right. That's your path right now.
I know.
Here's my path.
Or I always think that, especially I'm so close to my niece and nephews, and sometimes you say something and you think that just went on deaf ears, and then a year or two later you'll hear it repeated back to you.
Do you have kids?
I don't. I have a grown-up stepdaughter, but I have.
I always say I'm happily barren.
Yeah, same.
What did you say?
Child-free. Whole other discussion, Pam. Whole other discussion.
I love to do a twist with people. Like, you ever seen like a real buff guy and they're walking down the street and they know they look good?
Oh yeah.
And you know what I love to do? I always say, man, too bad you don't have time to work out.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then like if they're with a girlfriend, like I don't do it in such a way where the girlfriend feels threatened because I'm not interested, not interested in dating Lou Ferrigno. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But you worked hard.
If he has a sense of humor, I'd consider it.
But I mean, you worked hard. That's hard. Yeah. That takes discipline. And
you moved to Nashville a long time ago.
I did.
And
I got to know 2 Nashvilles, is what I say.
Oh, at least, right?
Or 3, maybe.
At least. And so can you just take us back for a second? In the 80s, MTV. I was certainly watching. And
Thank you.
You're so welcome. It was all because of me and my buddies in college watching this new thing. But what was that like for you that time?
Well, the funny thing is, now I grew up in New York State, so I always wanted to move and live in New York City, right? So I was like, here I am.
Which you did, yeah.
Love it, yeah. Interestingly enough, we did not have channel capacity in Manhattan, on Manhattan cable, to carry MTV when it first launched. It was not in New York.
Oh, goodness, I didn't know that.
We drove to New Jersey. First time second time, I was at my aunt and uncle's wedding. Second time to ever be in a limo, we went to New Jersey to flip the switch, to turn it on. And you heard, and trivia question, what was the first video?
Oh, wait, I used to know this. I don't know.
Video killed the
The radio star. Okay.
First video.
Did not know
For
that. See,
real.
right away, my head just went to Thriller, but I know it wasn't first, but it was
Ooh, also a great
huge,
story.
huge. Yeah.
So yes, that's what happened. And there's a book called Inside MTV, and I'm in that book.
Oh.
So funny enough, so what my job was, part of my job was to get now. Okay, so think about this. This was a 24-hour video channel. It was basically 24-hour radio,
Mm-hmm.
except it was visual.
Mm-hmm.
We had VJs, not DJs. So it was a whole different concept at the time. And what did we need? We needed content. We needed videos, interviews. We started doing interviews. And we needed commercials,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it was not commercial free. So the cities that we needed support from, Los Angeles and New York, we weren't in.
Oh, how
Madison Avenue could not see us.
difficult. Yeah.
So we're the record labels, LA and New York.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, it was a learning curve. So any of your viewers who are listening or watching, if you remember I Want My MTV,
Mm-hmm.
that was to get you to call your local cable station and request it.
Right.
Because they could see us in Omaha, but they couldn't see us in.
And then
know.
did that work? Did it pretty quickly?
What do you
get
think?
on?
Did it work?
Yeah.
Is it a household name? So that was also, everything comes back around. That was a recycling of I Want My Mapo,
Yeah.
which is kind of before my time, but it was maple cereal, maple oatmeal that they were selling, trying to get kids to eat their breakfast. And, I want my maple.
Yeah.
So that's how we did that. So I would invite journalists to come and watch what they called an air check.
Yeah.
And they would sit in my office, and I'm like, well, this is what we're trying to do. Would you write about it, please? Please, Bob Christgau from Village Voice.
Yeah.
Please, John Perales from Rolling Stone, will you write about this? That's what happened. And it's hard to believe that was those days.
I know
right?
it. I know, but I remember being in in college, a big fraternity party, and the whole party stopped to look at the itty bitty little TV, like when Thriller came on. Like we all just turned and looked at it. But okay, so here you are doing all that cool stuff in New York, and then you moved to Nashville.
Grudgingly.
Right. Were you, did you have a bias? Like, oh, I don't want to go down there, or that's such a big change.
They made me a great offer, and it was very, Godfather. Make her an offer. She refused.
Right.
And so I thought I really kind of missed a step from college to network cable television, actually. And so I wanted to learn the music industry. And I thought, well, everybody I'm working with has either worked in some capacity in the industry. I wanted to really understand how the music industry worked. And so I took a job to work at a record label here. And they made me a really good job offer. I was just a pup. I don't know what a T&E was. I was traveling expense report.
Oh.
I mean, they moved me here. They moved all my stuff, paid for it, gave me a car.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I was just I was less than 25 years old. I think I was 23 or something like that. So I was like, okay, won the lottery.
Did you kind of think maybe I'll stay for a while and
yes,
go
I
back
did.
to New York,
Well, this is like a backwater,
Yeah. So different.
very different, very, it's beautiful, looked like upstate New York,
Yeah.
but I couldn't watch a Woody Allen movie. I couldn't, anything that was filmed in New York, I'd be very depressed.
Yeah. I bet. But then
you kind of grow up thinking that New York's it.
I thought that. I lived there for a while. I grew up in Virginia, but I definitely thought that. But I mean, now just this, big small town at first. Now it's just a big town.
I went from being like, why am I here? And then having some mishaps happen to then being like, okay, I get it. I understand the South. Beautiful, cool things, easy to navigate. Don't tell anybody. This is a best kept secret. To now what it is, the it town, literally. Yeah. So that was like a huge, over the course of a few decades, a huge paradigm shift.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my mom, who just passed away, used to say to me, why are we always late? I said, Mom, because it used to take 10 minutes to get here. And now it takes 45.
Totally.
So I'm
still learning that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, the streets are no longer the names that I used to know. And by the way, the landmarks are no longer the names. And by the way, free parking is no longer free. And I have to do a QR code and give myself another 20 minutes to do that. That's why we're late. So it's like, okay, it's okay. We're growing up. It's fine. We're no longer a little town with, we're an adult and we're suffering a little bit of growing pains, and so here you go. And I'm not going to complain about that because I still love Nashville. It's just different.
Did you have some role models when you got here, or? You just kind of jump in was there anyone in business who inspired you when you started out?
There were a handful of powerful women, and I didn't exactly sit at their knee because I also felt like they're really busy. Why would they want to spend time with me? So there's that. But there was a gentleman that I met who is still in my life, and his name is Gary Spicer. And he lives in Detroit. And he just always believed in me. He's an attorney, still works with me. And I'm like, is it going to hit on me? Like, what's the deal with this dude? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, he believed in me before I believed in myself. And he has put up with my shenanigans all these years. And I call him Atticus, and I sign my letters Scout. That's how I sign them, because we have that kind of relationship. It's like I'm like his kid or, young sister kind of vibe,
Very cool. To Kill a Mockingbird reference.
Exactly.
There. A little literary here.
Yeah. So he's very funny, and I make him laugh. He's a character, but he's worked with the Oak Ridge Boys for centuries, and he worked with Ronnie Millsap. He worked with Pete Rose, and he's worked with sports figures and music people, and then authors. And he's cool. I like him a lot. And I would say he's definitely a role model for me. And of course, my parents, both of which are deceased now.
Yeah. Yeah. You and I both lost our moms this year. You said your mom was a pretty cool person. Yeah. You spent a lot of time with her.
Absolutely. Well, she went to college, which a lot of women didn't.
Yeah.
And she went to Ohio State. She had a career. And both of my parents were very, very work ethic, big time work ethic, not wasting, stretching a buck, turn off the television, do something productive. My father used to say it's impossible to be depressed if you're helping someone. So I do that.
Yeah.
I make a game. It's like, how many people can I help in a day?
Oh, man.
And I just, okay, check. Okay, it's noon. I've only done 2. And it can be something as simple as remembering someone's name, opening a door, letting them out in traffic, buying somebody's coffee that's not expecting it. You do it not for any benefit, but just to keep the flow. That's it. You're not expecting a thank you.
Right.
You're not expecting reciprocation.
It benefits you. Yeah.
It's just like, wouldn't it be a wonderful place if we all were a little kinder?
Oh my gosh. So much so. I have a friend who does that. She was having a really bad time, over the years, a couple times actually. And that's when she would get really busy with volunteer work and stuff. She's like, I have to do that. That is just when things goes bad for me. That's where I go to. Well, you're so involved in your community. I mean, my goodness, I can't, it would take a day to talk about it all, but how did you get so passionate about historic preservation and in Franklin, Tennessee?
Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really everywhere, I've always contributed. And we always, like I said, part of it was appreciating architecture and beautiful places and traveling a lot. And I never feared travel. I was always taught, like, you can do this, even though my parents traveled less than I did. So there's that. But also, I feel like to those much is given, much is expected. And it is incumbent upon you to be good stewards and to give back. And I always say that this is a very young country, but we have a very disposable mentality. We're large. So it's a large landmass. So we like the new and shiny. We like to tear down the Victorian and put up the tall and skinny.
And that's what's happening in Nashville.
Over and over again. Yep. And so we don't learn from the lessons. And a mayor who's no longer in office, I had a meeting with him and I said, Mr. Mayor, would you go to Italy? Would you fly to Rome to stand in front of a sign that said, this is where the Roman Forum was? Would you do that? Because that's what we're doing. Now, they have centuries and centuries, thousands of years of history. We have a very short window. I mean, we have, obviously, indigenous people were here many years before us. We have to, as a country, you can't get it back once it's gone.
Right.
I mean, you can, but it costs a lot of money. It's like I've been doing battlefield reclamation work with Franklin's Charge. It costs millions of dollars to do that.
Yeah.
To take a building and knock it down and then interpret it. But it's like, how do you want to be remembered? What's your legacy? How do you give back? I have a new project when it gets closer, and if I'm lucky enough, you'll ask me back regarding Ben Franklin. So I'll just say that. It's about next year and our 250th, and it's taking a lot of my time and energy, and it is my gift to Williamson County and to Franklin, Tennessee. So
that's exciting.
It is. It's fun.
Well, I just, living in Franklin and the home you live in and you have restored, are there some ghosts in your house?
Of course there are.
That's exciting. I
There's
mean, are
ghosts
they nice
everywhere.
ghosts or are they mean ghosts?
No, they're fun. They love that I talk about them. But I always keep music playing in the house. Like, and there's one channel. I mean, it's very funny because I always say, well, music is what gave me the opportunity to buy this place. And so I'm like
Right.
I'm like the Winchester lady who kept building, adding on.
Yeah.
I'm the music lady.
Yeah.
So there's always music on, and people are like. I mean, not when I go to bed, although then I listen to Hertz music to like just the soothing, healing, DNA recharge,
I wouldn't
all
mind
that
having
stuff.
a little bit on all day,
Yeah,
quietly.
I'll put it just depends. If it's lots of words, then I'm not cool. It's more instrumental. It's moodscapes is what I keep on right now.
Yeah.
So you've got flutes and you've got sort of very meditative, and yet this is a house that was one of the Civil War hospitals. We had 44. It's where the Battle of Franklin was planned.
Yes.
It was a spy headquarters, so lots of activity, lots of chaos. In 1862 and in 64, and yet people love coming. They just like, oh wow, your house has a cool vibe, because of my continents there, and the critters and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
people are like, wow, when they kind of decompress. We do sound healing there. I've got a friend, and we just do different things because I don't want to come forward with anger and upset. I want to come forward into the world. What am I bringing forward? I have to get grounded. And so I'm spending more time sort of getting into a grounding place. I mean, I took a hike the other day, not there, but another great Timberland. If you've never been, Timberland Park. It's a great little park off the Trace. And I'm sitting there going, like, this is the coolest thing ever, and just taking a minute and taking a pause and then that's where the magic happens. That's where everything starts to come.
Right, where you get ideas from a peaceful moment. Is that? Do you think about what you're leaving behind then?
All the time, every day.
You do, and that's important.
Every day. I had a near death, so that also very much changed the way I look at death, the way I look at living. I always joke because I'm not a funeral person. I like all that stuff. It's like not into it. I honor people that are. They need that process. I said, I'm going to be like, hey, Pam just missed a meeting. Where is she? Oh, yeah, she croaked last night. That's the way I want it to be.
Yeah.
It's like, don't have to bring a casserole.
No, I definitely want a party.
But even that is.
No open casket.
But even that to me is like me. You don't need to talk about my life. I don't care about that. Either I did it or I didn't. It doesn't matter to me. It's like, be here now, do good work, done.
Okay, now that is the perfect place to end.
That's it.
That's it. That is fabulous
bada bing,
advice.
Bada bang, bada boom.
All right, let's go out and take a walk and welcome the spirits and well, thank you, Pam, for being here.
My honor.
Yeah,
my honor.
We're going to talk for hours.
Indeed.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Let's Talk, Ladies, Conversations Across Generations. We'd love to hear from you. If you like this episode, please subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. And you can comment on the episode on any of these platforms. We love the feedback, and it also really helps us with sponsors. So leave those comments. We so appreciate it. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You can also send us an email at ltlconversations@gmail.com. Or leave us a voicemail at 629-888-3542. See you next time on LTL.